Hey guys, it's Maya,
And Carolina, welcome back to another episode of Mic Check.
where we drop the mic. So today's guests are going to be Elliot and Katie, and today we're going to be talking about youth and government.
Hi.
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 Thank you guys for joining us today.
Of course.
No problem.
Okay.
Oh my god, I have my iced coffee too.
That's
Iced coffee too to me.
Ellie, what kind of coffee are you drinking?
It's from one of those little like Starbucks jars. The mocha one. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking whipped coffee.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work when I make
I
it.
made you. Okay, back in April, I made you a tutorial video on how to do whipped coffee. I sent it to you. It was so well produced. So it works.
Okay, so we're going to kick things off. Just want to introduce yourselves. How was your day? Anything new happening?
I'll go first. I'm Elliot. I use she, her pronouns, and my day's going pretty well. I got a flu shot yesterday. Oh wait, I don't have a Band-Aid anymore. I got a flu shot and it really hurt. And this morning I felt this after effects of it. I was so exhausted, but I'm fine now. But yeah, that's it.
My name's Katie. I use she, her pronouns, and my day has been very tiring and very busy. I'm working from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, which has got to be illegal, but it's fine because I get paid.
So child labor, that's not legal, or that's not legal, but it's okay.
How does that work exactly? What do you have to do?
Okay, so basically, a month ago, I had to fill out an application, which was just my name, and it's are you a U.S. citizen? And then Miss Nielsen, who's the AP Gov teacher, submitted it for me. And then they take as many high school students as they can because free labor. So you have to work two days, which is a weekend, and then election day. So I worked last weekend. I worked 22 hours over the weekend.
That's not legal at all.
Which was kind of awful, but that's fine.
Did you ever eat? Did you get to eat?
No, yeah, you got an hour-long lunch break, and then you could take a 15-minute break later in the day, every 4 hours. That's legally you have to be able to take
4.
Yeah, but it was just a lot of standing, and every time I would get so bored, I'd be like, all right, I'm doing it for the stipend, which is the $300 that you get at the end. So, but it's been good. I'm glad it's Thursday. That's always a positive part of the week.
So you guys are seniors now. So exciting.
So many. I know. That's so much to take apart. I think high school overall has been it's just been very different. Every single year has been completely different for me. Freshman year was really, really hard. Freshman years, it's cool. It's your first year of high school, but you're no longer an 8th grader. And that was really hard. That sounds horrible, but it really, I didn't process it very well. And then sophomore year, I wasn't here. I was in a different country, and that was amazing. And then junior year was I think the H year was just such a big piece of my life, whether or not it was good or bad. And as for plans for the future, I'm so far just still trying to figure out where I want to go to college. I definitely have discovered a lot more of what I like and dislike, but I know Katie has such a good set plan in her mind, and I am not there yet, but I don't know. I'm kind of just trying to enjoy what little piece of senior year I have left. So
100% agreed. Yeah, my high school journey has been crazy. Unlike Elliot, I was here all of the past 3 years, whether or not I wanted to be. But I think freshman year was definitely very difficult. Elliot and I were in it together. We went through freshman year and all the same challenges, and then having to go through sophomore year, without Elliot, and it was just forced me to kind of meet new people and make new friends. But as much as I kind of bash on freshman, sophomore, and junior year, I think there were good moments. There were definitely very, very tough moments, especially last year. It was a very, very difficult year for me. I know that's a common thing you'll ask. Not to scare you guys for junior year, but that's kind of the consensus for junior year. But my plans for the future, I don't really know. I'd like to go to school in New York City or DC, but I'm not really super stuck to those, and I'd like to pursue politics. But I don't know. I don't really know what I want to do with my life, kind of like Elliot. I'm just figuring it out and enjoying being a kid.
And that's totally fair, obviously.
So getting into the topic of YNG, what inspired you to join the program, and did you also do MUN in middle school?
I actually only did YNG. I didn't really know about it in middle school. I feel like it didn't get enough like representation in middle school because to me, I just thought MUN was like government. And I mean, I guess it kind of is, but I didn't really like know what the program was. So I didn't join until freshman year. And then I wasn't here sophomore year, so I did junior year. And then senior year isn't like really happening. So that's really short for me, but I know Katie has a lot more.
Yeah, so I joined YNG in 7th grade. I did the MUN program, and I heard about it through Thea, if you know Thea, and she told me about how amazing it was, and it was a great place to meet new people. And I was going through a bit of a rough patch in my life, so I really needed some kind of community thing and some kind of group of people to talk to. So that really filled that hole for me. And so I have been in the YNG program since 7th grade, and the MUN then became MLC, which is high school YNG.
I'm relating this as to continue what Katie said. How has this journey reflected your school life, your social life?
For me, it really opened a lot of doors for me as a freshman because I definitely am not the same. It's so cliche. Like, of course, like I'm not the same as I was freshman year, but YNG really opened a lot of doors for me. I think Katie introduced. Like, I think the reason I joined is Katie because she was like my first friend in Spasm, which is our delegation for South Pass and San Marino. But I think that meeting people from like I have friends who live in all parts of California because of youth and government, and it definitely brought out a lot of my public speaking side and made me a lot more comfortable just talking to people. But
Yeah, Elliot said that incredibly well. I think that one of the best parts of YNG is for 2 weekends or 3 weekends out of the entire year, you meet with some of the smartest and most well-spoken people you've literally ever met. And then they're from Northern California, and you don't really ever see them again until next year. And there's that excitement of, oh, it's Fresno. We're gonna go see, our friend Sochi, who we don't live near or whatever. So that ability to meet new friends and talk to people that are just so passionate about government is something that I'm so thankful for. Also, I think YNG has really helped me appreciate government. Through doing it, I've decided that politics and government is something that I'd like to pursue and learn more about. So it's because of YNG that I have that interest in those opinions in the first place.
I think Elliot mentioned it earlier that Spasm really isn't happening this year, or YNG in general. So what do you think about Spasm dissolving this year? And are you still participating in the online program?
I mean, we've talked about it. Definitely are. Like, we have a group chat we've had since freshman year. We've all talked about how I think they're trying to do some sort of virtual meetings, but it's going to be different. They've started to change it, I think, to more of a local level. According to Piper, she would have been president this year of Spasm. And honestly, I don't really know how I feel about it because I feel like when you're, paying for the program and you're taking time out of your week for the program, you're getting that experience, which is like that person experience, and that's part of it, especially when it comes to government. Like, it doesn't work virtually. And I mean, of course, if everyone in Spasm chooses to do the virtual meetings, I'll probably do it, but it's not going to be the same at all because, again, part of that is like seeing people and getting to like meet people that I only see once a year, but that's like what makes it so special. So I don't really know how I feel about it yet.
Yeah, but I don't think that Spasm will dissolve or will die, because even the freshmen, who I guess are now sophomores now, are some incredibly passionate people who are so well spoken and are so passionate about Spasm and about YNG. So if this year is a little bit different, or we don't have meetings, or our advisors are furloughed, so they're not there for us, that doesn't mark the end of Spasm, because we've been through a lot as a delegation. And I think that it's just another step in our journey. But obviously there's been some disappointment where when you're a freshman, you hear all about the seniors and they're so cool in YNG and they have all these fun experiences. So that's been a little bit disappointing, just not getting that last sack, that last teeny 2 or teeny 1. But we're trying to make it work as best we can.
Definitely. And with that, do you have any favorite memories or embarrassing moments during YNG or MUN?
I mean, Katie and I, okay, I was so grateful because this year was the first year that Katie and I got to be in a room together when we went to Fresno. And first of all, Fresno is the most boring place in the world. Like, if you
Agreed.
think of a boring place, like Fresno. But like, Katie and I had a room together this year, or last year technically, for the first time. And I mean, I think, me and Katie are going for that, best friend duo in ASB, and we kind of had that in YNG. So I'm kind of sad that that's gone. It's probably why we're never in rooms together.
Yeah, probably.
But I was really looking forward to like seniority this year, but yeah.
It's just stuff like that that just gets me.
I think it's like the whole idea of it, like the fact that we drive like literally like 6 hours to drive to Fresno, like that in itself is just so like, we really are driving 6 hours to Fresno right now. But I mean, I don't know. Again, it's that something that like you complain about, but then now that we don't have it, I'm so sad.
This is a totally random question, but have you ever gotten Fresno flu? Because I get it every time we go.
Yes, I get sick every time I come home.
I've never gotten it, baby.
The day everyone's always sick when I come back. It's like horrible. Okay, now I feel like we're making it sound so bad, but I always end up getting sick there. YNG. So
I get sick after SAC. Like that, I always get sick after SAC, especially because like you wake up so early to fly back, especially if you're the early flight, and I'm always the early flight. I know Ellie and I, we were early flight last year, and like you just are so tired, and so I always get sick after Sacramento.
Is there something that you wish you still had time to do in the program?
Oh gosh, I think for me, since when you're a freshman, you're in like Forum, which is like the freshman program. You don't really get to do any specific area because that's your first year. So you kind of just experience a bunch of different parts. So sophomore year was supposed to be the first year that you get to actually go into like a specific program area, and I wasn't here. So junior year was my first time getting to choose a program area, and I really liked the one I chose. It was like ledge houses, so I kind of got to go in like the Senate chambers. It was really, really cool in Sacramento. But then I was really looking forward to trying something new senior year because I only got to try those things once, and so I would have really loved to try what Katie did last year, which was NIC, I believe, right? You did NIC, and then or just a lot of other program areas, because since I also hadn't been there for a while, I didn't have a lot of opportunities to try a lot of the really popular program areas. So I think that was just something that I was really looking forward to doing this year. But
yeah, I think for me, it's like not being able to say goodbye to my YNG friends, like as kind of stupid as that sounds, but like like we were saying, like some of those people live in Northern California and I probably will never see them again. And so like, I really regret, because I didn't know, when we were in Sacramento, it was a month before everything happened. And so we didn't know what was coming. So I didn't get to do a lot of formal goodbyes, and I wish I could have, because I don't know if I'll see them again. And so we follow each other on social media, but it's just not the same. So
yeah, there are definitely some friends of mine that I will consider lifelong friends just because of youth and government that I met through this program. And that I remember I was so excited for senior year because I've heard that is like the most amazing year. You really bond with everyone in your grade all over YNG. And I was really, really sad to hear that there wouldn't be youth and government this year, especially when again, like Katie said, like I may not see those people ever again, because I mean, it's not like I'm going to go to college where they go to college, and where else am I going to see them if they live in Northern California? So not getting that like goodbye and not knowing that I wasn't going to get that goodbye is really heartbreaking.
For those who would like to participate next year, hopefully, or in the case in the future, what are any words you'd like to share about the program in general?
So for anyone who's considering doing YNG or is in it right now and wants to do it again next year, I would recommend that with my whole heart. YNG changed my life and I love it. That's, everybody has a unique YNG tale about how it impacted them. But also some advice I think I would have is to not talk to the same group of people the entire time. Like, I'm kind of being hypocritical there because like Ellie and I spend every second of YNG together, but like don't form cliques and don't make it some kind of like cliquey thing like school, because the whole thing is that it's kind of separate from school. It's getting to pretend to be something else, getting to pretend to be involved in politics. So when you go out of your way to talk to new people and make new friends, no matter how scary it can be, because it seems really scary because you don't know these people, I can assure you that those people that you go out of your way to talk to will be the friends that you'll remember for the longest time and have the best experiences with.
Yeah, I mean, like Katie said, I think maybe freshman year I kind of stuck to Spasm because I mean again there is no like individual program areas. It's hard to explain, but you stay with all the freshmen, but then when you get old once you're a sophomore and beyond, you get to choose a program area, and I was one of the only Spasm delegates in my program area, and so that kind of, except for like Arlo, so that so that kind of forced me to like meet people, and that sounds very childish, but like Katie said, like I stuck with Katie and I stuck with my like little clique, but then it kind of forced me to meet people. But then by the end of it, I became friends with people like I would never have thought. Like even Aurelia in the she's in your grade, and we were both in the same program area, and by the end of it we were together every single day because we had to go to the same meetings. And I think that kind of forces you to like branch out even if you don't want to, but you have to, and it kind of it like matures you a lot. And so I recommend not just sticking with your friends even though it's like really scary. I like promise you will leave with so many people that you've met, and it just makes it more exciting when you get to go to each conference.
Yeah, I have another thing. I would also recommend trying different program areas that you might not think you would like, and kind of branching out when it also comes to program areas. Like I convinced myself freshman year that I was going to do the court program like all 4 years. Like I was like court program, bench trial, appellate court, and then I did it sophomore year and I didn't like it. And so by doing IAC, I did IAC last year, which is the International Affairs Commission. I had like the best experience ever, but I was really scared because I didn't know much about the program. And so when you kind of put yourself out there and try different program areas, you normally have a really fun time and you don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's fun.
So as seniors, what advice do you guys have for the lower grades?
Okay, my brother's a freshman this year, and so my biggest advice I always gave him was, it's the same as YNG, like, is to really branch out. Personally, I found that most of my memories from freshman year came from people who weren't in my grade. I became friends with a lot of seniors, which Anders, but like I think that kind of, because I feel like in 8th grade, your grade is usually really close by the end because you're all about to go to high school and you're all very close. But then freshman year, I don't know if this was just for our class, but we kind of divided a little bit because there were a lot of kids trying other things and really like meeting a lot of people. And so what really helped me was meeting students who weren't just in my group, and really knowing the fact that your friend group is going to change throughout high school. It is not going to stay the same as it was in middle school. I don't know a single friend group that has stayed the same. I'm not saying you're not gonna still have those friends, but it's healthy to like meet people and to change groups and not feel like you have to stay in like your little friendship. Not that that's not a good thing, but I think that accepting the fact that friendships change and evolve, and it's okay to meet people that aren't in your grade and to be friends with people who are younger and older than you, and they're not necessarily like more or less mature than you, is really going to help you throughout high school. Because it kind of, like, I don't know, I feel like it modest, is that a word? I don't know, like makes you a little more modest, because sticking to just your grade because all your friends are the same age isn't really, I don't know, I just think it's good to have friends in all areas. So yeah, that's my advice.
Wow, that's some great advice. Definitely, I totally understand that. I think my piece of advice would be to make sure to separate your view of yourself and how you're doing in school. One of the biggest regrets I think I have in high school is my self-image became too tied to how I was doing academically. So if I wasn't doing well in school, I really looked down on myself. But if I did well, I thought I was really smart or whatever, and that's a very unhealthy habit to get into. So I think it's important to separate who you are as a person and who you are as a student. No matter how much you fail or how much you succeed, you're still you. And it's so important to separate them, because when the way you view yourself becomes too tied to the way you are doing in school, you're just going to be so unhappy, and it's a super toxic self view to have. And so my piece of advice would just be to make sure that no matter how good or how bad you're doing in school, you're still a whole person that deserves to be loved and deserves love.
I also want to say one more thing too. Kind of what Katie said. I also feel like you need to allow yourself to not like. I think okay, when people say do your best in school and that's all that matters, there has to be like a line where you're doing your best, but you're also like healthy. Like if I really wanted to do my very best, I would never go outside. I would study the second school ended, and I think that's like a misconception in high school is that oh your grades and your grades do matter. Your grades matter if you're trying to go to a really nice college. Your grades do matter, and I'm not saying don't try. But and as much as high school can really be some of the best and worst years of your life, those moments that you are gonna miss because you wanted to study for just like an extra hour, like I promise you later you're gonna really be happy that you and I'm not saying don't study for things, but there's like so many moments that I'm so grateful that I went to instead of going home and just stressing about like one test that isn't really going to affect my grade. I just allow yourself to like really just like enjoy the space you're in and like the time that you're in because you're not going to be I'm going to be 18 in like a couple months and then I'm no longer a kid and that's like so sad. Katie's going to be 18 in like 2 months and that's crazy and not that that really changes anything, but it's also like allow yourself to be like 16 or 15 and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I also think it's really important, kind of relating to that too. It's really important to try and remove yourself from SPHS culture. I'm not going to say that SPHS culture is toxic, but it is a lot about name and for colleges, it's a lot about what do I recognize the name of the school you go to, or hey, how did you do on this test? And it's a lot of competition, whether or not it's subtle or it's people just talking about how well they did on something, and that can be really bad. Like I have had times where I get so caught up in like the competitive nature of SPHS. So I think understanding that it's who cares how other people are doing in school, that doesn't matter. You need to focus on yourself and how you're doing both mentally and physically and emotionally, and also how you're doing academically. Just don't get caught up in what other people are doing. Who cares how well they did on that test? You should focus on yourself. And I know that's really hard because that's a big thing at SPHS is like, how well did I do on something? So I think just understanding that can be really toxic.
It was like an eye opener for me, in all honesty.
So, to conclude on a very happy note, funny high school stories. Interesting, embarrassing moments.
We gotta keep it PG, so
Yeah.
Gosh, funny high school moments. I actually feel like a lot of my funny moments that actually were just actually came from like freshman year with Katie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Used to have an obsession with Ouija boards. No, that's like so embarrassing. We would play every single day, like in the daytime. Like we'd go to my house. I have 3 under my bed right now, and we would just play. And like we would literally like have it determine like our life. We'd be like, okay, so like what's gonna happen at school? I'm like exposing way too much. Katie, do you have any?
Yeah, going back to freshman year, I think I had some really fun moments in YNG, specifically with the seniors. Like they were just so funny and it was just hilarious. Shout out to Hank. Also Anders. I remember Elliot and I thought we were so cool because he knew our names, which is also so embarrassing.
I did try to seek a lot of validation from upperclassmen because I felt like if they liked me, then I must be doing something right. And I think also like I joined the musical freshman year. I was in the Addams Family as a background character, and and meeting people that way, I was like, wow, I made it. I'm friends with all these seniors. Like, yeah.
Well, we have to take our thumbnail picture.
Oh my god, wow.
I always see these and I'm like, oh, they look so good.
Ellie and I are gonna look so stupid.
Wow, thank you for throwing me under the bus. I thought you looked cute, but it's okay.
Shut up. You look so cute.
Are you taking a screenshot?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
Okay, wait, I don't know what to do. Ellie, what do we do?
Too. So okay. I'm just gonna say 1, 2, 3 and then just smile.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.